What is going on? My name is Dimitri. In this video, we're going to talk about how to create content people actually want to watch. So content really comes down to two different levels that I have observed, and that is surface level content and deep content, okay? When you're creating content, you want to be on this side. You want to be creating content that is deep, and odds are that is the content that you're consuming. You're not consuming surface level content, but 80% of creators who are posting nowadays are posting surface level content, and that's why they're not seeing any success. So let's start here. Surface level content really just comes down to creating content around the content you consume. So what happens is all the information that you are consuming, you are getting from YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and that is what's sparking your ideas to create content around your niche. So you're not really creating anything new. So you're not teaching, you're not really being useful to the market. All you're really doing is consuming content, getting ideas, and then regurgitating that same information. So you're basically becoming a parrot. On the other hand, when you create content that is deep, what happens is you are actively in the field solving problems. So your client has a problem and you're not just going to let that problem, sit there. Your goal as a business owner is to solve that problem. And what happens is you're going to figure out a solution to solve that problem because you don't want to lose that client. So what you're going to do is you're going to start studying, you're going to start talking to your coach, you're going to create a system, and from there, once you solve the problem, you now have just developed a new idea, and that idea can most likely help other people who are facing similar problems. The real difference between deep content and surface level content is nobody else can do the work for you on creating content that's deep because you have to internalize the work itself. What I mean by that is as a business owner, you are a natural problem solver, which means you are going to do whatever it takes to solve the client issue that you are facing. And in that process, you are going to be learning and consuming new information from every avenue that exists, not just YouTube and Twitter, okay? You're not just gonna go on Instagram, try to find the information from there and then solve that problem. You might, it's possible, but odds are you're going to have to tap into other mediums, and a lot of the times those mediums don't even exist. So you might have to create your own system to solve that specific problem, which makes you unique and also makes you valuable because you have the skill set to solve problems. You have the ability to just figure things out. So that is really the difference between surface level content and deep content. Deep content, you cannot be guided into making. It just happens. The way, I guess another avenue we can take for this is like you could be guided, but the only person that can really guide you into doing that is God, because you just have to trust the process. And by trusting the process, what's going to happen is you're going to just be taking the information that you are getting from the problems that you are facing with your clients or even your own problems in your own life. And through that, that's going to lead you to different avenues to study and, ultimately creating some sort of value that can actually solve the problem at hand. Versus, right, we go back to surface level content. Surface level content, there's really nothing going on here. The only thing that is going on is your goal when creating content is just, let's get views. Let's get people to my channel, let's generate traffic. And hopefully I will land a client when, I get 100,000 views on this video. The problem with that is the content itself, it may get people on the call, but once you're on the call, that call is just going to turn into like this convincing session where you're trying to educate them on what you know, when in reality, all you know is what they know. The people that are consuming that content they're consuming that same exact content from other creators, and you jump into this cycle of essentially regurgitation. So they're going to jump on the call with you. They're going to jump on the call with the other creator who made that same exact video that you made. And you're just going to be racing to the bottom on price because you actually have nothing to nothing to offer. Versus you create content that's deep, that people actually want to watch. What's going to happen is you're going to start attracting people and they're going to actually watch your content because these are things that you're creating within your video that they haven't seen before on another creator's video within your niche. People, especially today with the technology that we have, right, the algorithms are very good at showing people exactly what they want to see. So if you're creating a video around a specific topic, odds are people are going to see it. But if they see that video after they have already seen the original creator's video that you have now gotten that information from, you become, pretty useless in the marketplace. So to sum it up, there are two different levels of content, okay? Surface level content and deep content. Surface level content, you are just a parrot. There is no reason for people to consume your content. And there's also no reason for people to book a call with you because you are essentially just hearing things and then, creating content around those things. So you're basically placing yourself underneath the creators, the original creators, basically flow, okay? So they're gonna watch the original creator first, then they're gonna watch your video and realize that you have nothing to offer because they can just jump back in, watch like a Sam Ovens video and get all of that value from Sam Ovens versus like the regurgitated information. But like you're basically like a Sam Ovens clone at that point, and you're pretty much useless, okay? Versus actually jumping into the field, actually signing clients, actually solving problems, actually delivering good service, creating a product that is worth buying. At that point, you actually have information that you can distribute to other people. And, content creation really becomes easy. When you're creating content, really like sit down and start trying to tap into like the avenues of where these pieces of content can come from. Because what happens there is you start to become this curator of information. So you'll be on a client call or you'll read a Slack message from a client. And what's going to happen is you're going to start studying that issue that's coming up. Then you're going to start taking notes. You're going to dive into other avenues of information. And from there, you are ultimately going to come up with a solution that is unique. That, it might exist to some extent, but you are the one who has now created that system and has solved the problem. And now you have a unique mechanism that you can take to the market, create a video on, and actually create content that people actually want to watch. So hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, go watch this one where I talk about how you can clone yourself with content.